Well, how are you feeling about things so far in the course? I will be in later today to kind of go through the the assignments and give you pretty immediate feedback. I try to have most of my grading done on weeks that we're not turning in papers by Wednesday, and weeks that we are turning in papers, I always hope to have them done by Friday. That's not a guarantee, but just so you know kind of the schedule that I'm functioning on. Um, you had some great questions this week, and there's always a few glitches, and some of you've noticed that we changed the Erin text to an updated version, and some of the page numbers I didn't get them changed in some of the content pages. The syllabus is changed and corrected, and I apologize for any confusion that caused, but you guys did a great job of handling that, just saying, hey, this doesn't work, what's going on? With the Erin text, I have not seen really great changes in the content. Honestly, it just probably we couldn't get a hold of the old version anymore. So not everything that I have you do in the Erin text is still there. It just may be a few pages over. And some of you might still be working in an old Erin text because you were able to grab hold of a used copy. And either one will work is what I'm saying. Okay. We are ready to start week 2. And this is our summary response week. We start with a very basic paper. Those of you who've taken Comp 1 at Northwest State, I've taught at that course as well. I think the biggest difference you're going to see for this first paper is that I don't give very specific prompts, and I'm not going to do that for any of the papers. I want to explain why I don't. I want to allow you the freedom to think and create. It's a higher level skill, and I think it fits well for Comp 2. I want you to be able to read something and respond to it without being directed in a certain direction. I don't want to have to. I don't want you to feel like you are being like, when we hold a child's face to get them to pay attention to us. I don't want you to feel that way, and that is uncomfortable too. I'm actually I work for another online school, actually a high school that's online, and we went to less structure this year, and some of the teachers have, these are adults, right, have been going, oh no, there's not much structure. How am I going to be evaluated? If they're giving me all this freedom, how do I know what they're expecting? And so I want to be very clear with you on expectations and the rubrics I'm using and that kind of thing. But I don't want to rob you of the opportunity to think more creatively and take your ideas and expand on them. So if you have insecurities about how this is going to be graded, even after all of these talks and so forth, please email me. That's part of the online school advantage and disadvantage. I think for one, I feel more comfortable asking questions when I can just privately email a professor, but I also know that it's the disadvantage in that you don't just raise your hand in class and somebody clarifies and you get that pulse. So hopefully I can give you that through emails and through these conversations. What's due this week, right? I'm looking at the syllabus myself here, and there are several articles that are posted in the classroom. This week we're just mostly doing practice. Nothing about this week is going to specifically translate to the actual paper we're writing, but this is more kind of intro stuff again, okay? Maybe I beat the intro stuff too hard. Debatable. But I did want to give you kind of a chance to get that feel of how we respond and what the expectation is before we actually jump into the paper topic. So just to clarify, the articles are links. If the links get broken at any time, give me a shout. The articles are all about online learning. Some of you are old hat at it, some of you aren't. Either way, I think it'd be interesting to hear your perspective. So we're all going to post our responses to the discussion board. We're going to get a brief summary of what we read because there's lots of links on these. And so what we're going to do is give kind of a summary of what we read, and then mostly spend the time on expounding on how it relates to us. Maybe if it's our first class and what we learned from it, or if we're old hat at this and what we found to be true and what we found to be untrue. You can argue with an article. Just because it's published doesn't mean it's right. It doesn't mean you have to share that truth, right? So we're going to post discussions, and discussion implies that we don't just put our idea out there, but we also respond to someone else. So to get credit for the discussion board, I would like you to copy and paste only what you've said. If you want to include what other people said too about what you said, that's fine. But you're not responsible for them participating, and I don't want you to ever feel like I'm grading you on how many people post to your comment, okay? But I would like you to copy and paste your response to the articles, and I believe I spell it out better in the content about how many articles you're supposed to respond to. I don't want to say it here and misspeak. I have to look it up as well. So you do your initial posts, you respond to at least one other student. And in order for people to be able to respond to you, it's best if you can post early in the week. So make this one a top priority, okay? Like maybe by Wednesday. Copy and paste those responses. You can do it right into the Dropbox message square, or you can put it on a Word document. Honestly, it's easier for me to grade if you just put it right in there, but if you want to put it on a Word document, that's fine too, and attach it. Okay, the second task you're going to have is a thesis worksheet. And the way it's worded could be a little confusing. I tried to clarify it. What you're writing this is a pretend thesis. This is not one that you're going to be using. It's just getting you introduced to a way of writing thesis statements, because that's a common thing that I hear people say they have trouble with, okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to take any random idea that you can think of, or you're going to take an idea from your discussion board posts, and you're going to step through a thesis worksheet. And it's just a process. Some students like it, some don't. It's a template, of so to speak. But I want you to feel for, it's very important for me to know, for me to know that I have taught you what I'm expecting a thesis statement to look like. And so this is what I'm expecting. You may choose a different process to get there, but this is the type of thesis I'm expecting on all papers. So just those two simple assignments. There are some reading assignments from the Erin text, and these are the correct text numbers. But again, anytime I have you read from Erin, I'm expecting you to sort of use it as a resource. It's more background stuff, and you use it as much as you need it. It's a kind of like a manual. You look for what you need. If you would like to read ahead, the reading for next week is a little bit heavier, and it is more of the deep read intensely. So feel free to go into next week's reading. This week's still a little bit lighter, and then ironically, when we have a short week with Labor Day next weekend, there's a little bit heavier content. So if you want to work ahead, this might be a good week to do that. All right, first full week in, right? And here we go. Fasten your safety belts. It's time for takeoff. Have a good one.